Hello there, I'm Erica, the technology nerd who likes to film stuff. This month's XDA Developer TV is brought to you by the Samsung Smart App Challenge 2012. Enter for your chance to win your piece of over $4 million in cash prizes by clicking the banner at the top of xdadevelopers.com or by visiting developer.samsung.com. So, as I mentioned, my name is Erica, the technology nerd who likes to film stuff. I'm a 23-year-old tech nerd from my own channel, The Angel of Music 1989, where I do reviews on devices and other products. I know I look like I'm jailbait and stuff, but I am all legal. Yeah. Awkward. So I have to thank you so much, Adam and Jimmy and Super Curio, for this awesome opportunity to be able to be here making videos for you guys, talking about things that I absolutely love. So the first thing I want to get into is the Galaxy S3 here. An awesome application called EasyUMS is entirely essential. Basically, before we get into all the fine details, is that it's an application that lets you mount the external SD card as USB mass storage. You can easily toggle between UMS mode and back to MTP mode. This is absolutely essential and you want to know why, so let's create a little bit of a scenario here. So you've just gotten your brand spanking new Galaxy S3, you're excited, it's the international version, it's your first ice cream sandwich device, you've probably paid around $700 if you imported it and you live in the United States, so this is your baby. Nobody is allowed to touch this phone. You even have a legal written agreement that your girlfriend is not allowed to touch this phone. So you are completely freaking out right now. Your masculinity is all charged. You've got this sweet, awesome setup here, and you plug it into your computer, and you're ready to transfer over 10 gigabytes of sweet tunes. And as you're doing that, you realize that it's not USB mountable. Even the external SD card is not USB mountable. So you're like, okay, shit. Okay. So you go on the internet and you find out there's this thing that's called MTP, and Media Transfer Protocol, and you're like, okay, I'll try that. So it gets about a quarter of the way through transferring your songs, and it hangs. And there is nothing you're able to do to make this work again. You restart the phone, it starts working, you start to transfer the files again, you get about halfway through this time, and you're just so pissed off at this point that you're just like, okay, whatever, seriously. So you take your phone out to your car, you're gonna go on a joyride in this awesome truck that you have, and you've got a sweet stereo system that you installed last year. So you plug your phone in like you do all the other times, and you realize it's not supported. It doesn't support MTP. So at this point, you are so flipping mad that you're gonna pull an Office Space on this phone. Screw the $700 you spent. You're so angry that you're even threatening to go back to an iPhone. That is pretty bad, you guys. But you actually don't need to freak out like that, because that is the whole point of XDA developers, you guys. They're so awesome that they create applications that let you fix a situation that you don't like with the phone. Considering EasyUMS, done by these guys here, thank you so much for creating this application, because it really helps. It's a partial solution. It now lets you use mass USB storage for your external SD card, but you're not going to be able to at any point use it for the internal. It's just not going to work. It's not going to happen. If you look at Android of the past, way yonder years of gingerbread, which was not a long time ago, you'll see that there are two partitions. One is for the internal storage and the other is for applications, which is only like a 2 gigabyte measly amount, which is really horrible. So what would happen before is that programs used to be very small. They would fit just fine on that 2 gigabytes, and you could easily move data back and forth to that other big partition that was given to the phone. No issues, it was not a problem. Well, the problem is that now we have games that are easily over a gigabyte in size. So Google is now forced to let the information from the applications partition now also be shared with the SD card partitions, because it doesn't fit all on this one tiny 2 gigabyte partition. So what happens when you plug in the SD card partition onto your computer? Well, it takes it away from the system so it can no longer communicate, which I'm sure you see when you plug in your phone, you're trying to play a game as a large file is transferring, and it says not accessible right now because you are connected to USB mass storage. That's the whole point here. That is why was such a problem. So you would end up getting redundancies. Some things could easily get corrupted. It's a big no-no. You don't want to take the application data that's here and have it be shared by a computer that you can no longer access. Correct. Hello. So I agree that it is a really good system now that they have it all consolidated into one big memory block. But the only problem is MTP. MTP is not supported by everything. Aren't drivers to support it everywhere. So even in Windows, it's supposed to be supported really well, and it doesn't. Super Curio, I'm sorry, I thought it was hilarious, your story of it actually hanging the way it does sometimes. So you can see that it's not the perfect solution. And in Mac operating systems, you have to use third-party software, Android file transfer. It's incredibly slow. And with MTP, you can no longer browse, actually, and view a file in real time in a window anymore. You actually have to transfer it onto the computer. So, stupid solution. So I'm just saying screw it to MTP. I'm really having a lot of faith here in the EasyUMS application. So what I'm doing now is having a gigantic SD card and putting all my movies and everything on that and keeping that one really stable, non-volatile, consolidated piece alone, and I'm not going to use MTP. So what you really need to pay attention to with this app is that it supports both exFAT and FAT32. What's really nice about the Galaxy S3 is that it supports exFAT where other phones don't. So FAT32 is the old formatting file system that supports a maximum of 4 gigabytes at one particular time. So if you want to watch a movie file that's over 4 gigabytes, forget about it. You can't do that. So exFAT, which started with Windows Vista, actually lets you carry on even further and further. You can have a 10 gigabyte NKV file if you want. I have a 50 gigabyte NKV file, which is lossless. I don't recommend you use lossless, but it was just to prove a point. So that is actually a really cool situation. And with this application, you can choose either one that you would like because the Galaxy S3 can read either one. So in which circumstance would you really want to pay attention to which one? Well, if you want to use your phone plugging in to something that supports mass USB storage that's not your computer, like your truck sound system or whatever, I recommend staying with FAT32 as that's the old system and that is going to be what's readily recognized. So exFAT is going to be really if you like to watch movies and such. So keep that in mind. It's a really good solution, you guys. I think it's a really good idea that everything's consolidated now and it's not being touched. But Samsung, really, did you have to disable our mass USB storage? By the way, you guys, it was supposed to be enabled by default, so yeah, our developers were like, yeah, screw that. So as far as support, there's something to say is that right now I'm only seeing the international version supported. The reason is that the kernel module works hand in hand with the Exynos processor, and well, I don't know if you're going to be able to get it to work on other phones. They don't have that particular kernel module. So we'll see what happens as far as other compatibilities. So check this out, you guys. It is an awesome application. It's very simple to use. It worked on my Mac computer, which is Lion at this moment. It worked on Windows XP and it worked on Windows 7. No issues at all. It may or may not work for you guys, but keep in mind that pay attention to the kernels and the operating systems. You may want to keep the default kernel on the phone and operating system for that matter. So there's a lot of things to play with, and I would love it if you could rate down here. Tell me what you're thinking. I'll also put a link to the actual thread so you can check that out as well. So comment and subscribe and rate, you guys. And thank you so much for watching, and I would be really appreciative if you'd check out my channel as well, which is the Angel of Music 1989. You guys are awesome. Have a great day. Bye! And I hope you now understand why this cool application is so flipping awesome.